Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode review. This time we will be going over episode 45 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, the duel between Yuga and Hunt. And boy oh boy, I really thought this was just going to be a pretty basic filler episode, and it wasn't really going to be that much of an important or relevant episode, but my goodness, could I have not been more wrong about this episode. One of the better episodes of this arc, which I think is saying a lot because this arc has just been filled with nothing but really good, really impactful episodes. And Yuga versus Hunt was no different, mainly because of the shock of the maximums. I did not think that Hunt was going to have a maximum. I do a pre-show and watch-along every Saturday when the episode airs over in Japan, and I remember Blake Engelbrecht, got to give him a shout-out, he sent in a super chat early in the pre-show and said, I think Hunt's going to use a maximum, and I was like, oh, I don't think so, there's just no way, and he used maybe my favorite maximum. The only deck that I ever played in real life was Shaddoll Dinos. I love Shadolls, I love dinosaurs, and so seeing a maximum monster that was literally 3 massive dinosaurs put together, carrying like a skyscraper building was just so cool. And then seeing Yuga's Exodia obelisk fire looking maximum as well, which I was not expecting to see in this duel, was also unexpectedly amazing. And so those 2 moments in the duel were just fantastic. I mean, they really were. And now that we know maximums have been released pretty much to this entire tournament, with Rook, of course, still not having one. Actually, nobody on Team Rook has one at this point, giving Nail and Yuga a massive advantage, because the other thing we learned about this tournament is that the top 2 teams will face off against each other after the 2 days complete. So that kind of sucks. It means we're not really going to see too much of a tournament. We kind of always were wondering how this tournament would even play out, especially if it's a 13-episode arc and we need to be wrapped up by episode 52. It would have been, which again, there's no confirmation, we're just assuming based on the 13-episode precedence, we would have needed to really zoom through a lot of duels, considering it's not a, 1 versus 1 setup. It's literally a teams of 3, and so if those teams of 3 compete in best of 3 matches, which that's not really the case, it seems like any member of the team can compete against any member of another team, and based on if they win or lose, they get points. It's honestly a really cool system. It just sucks that outside of Yuga versus Hunt, I have a feeling we probably are not going to see too many tournament duels going forward. I really think that we're just going to see the top team versus the runner-up team, probably from like episodes 49 to 52. I have a feeling we'll see, assuming it's Team Rook versus Team Yuga, right? Because that's where it seems like it's headed. I'd be very surprised now, especially knowing it's the top 2 teams. And also, if you see the lead that Team Rook and Team Yuga had, they had massive leads. Actually, the Dino Club was in 3rd, and Team Rook, who was in 2nd at the time, had a massive lead on the Dino Club. So unless there's a big plot twist there, it's going to be Team Yuga versus Team Rook. And if that's the case, 49 might be Roman Roa, 50 might be Gakuto Nail, and then 51-52 could be Yuga versus Rook, which those are some mouth-watering duels, let me tell you. I am very, very, very excited for that potential, these potential colossal teams coming together. But that was something that, I wish we were going to see a little more of the side characters and the teams. Like, I would have loved to see the Ramen Club have a proper matchup against Rook's team, because I think there's a lot of interesting matchups there, including the Roman Sushiko rivalry maybe being expanded. But, these are things that we could get in maybe another tournament arc. It's not uncommon for Yu-Gi-Oh! To have more than 1 tournament arcs. I mean, I think Zexal didn't have it, but 5Ds had it, and Duel Monsters had it, and I believe Arc 5 had it as well, so it's definitely not uncommon. Actually, not including Vrains, 3 of the 5 Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows had multiple tournament arcs, so we could definitely get one down the road after this, because clearly this tournament is being set up with malicious purposes, as most tournaments in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are. While we don't know the actual motivation for the tournament being set up, it's pretty obvious to me that Goha 66, aka the Silhouette Man, is behind setting up the tournament. And I want to talk about Hunt's character for a little bit. Obviously, he's going to be the main talking point of this episode, just the drastic switch up in his personality. And I got to be honest with you, Hunt's character, and I'm not saying he's a badly written character, personally, he has quickly become, based on this episode, my most probably least favorite character, my most hated character in this show. And let me tell you why. I personally, and this is, bringing real life into it as I tend to do in these reviews, I hate people who are driven by greed. I have people in my own family that are driven, my extended, luckily not my immediate family. My immediate family is actually very good with that. But my extended family and people that I used to be very close friends with that are driven by nothing but greed. And there are big differences between wanting money to be rich and wanting money to be wealthy, right? I think the motivation of wanting money is the most important aspect in why we as humans want money. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with wanting to accumulate money as long as it's for the right purposes. Personally speaking, my main motivator for trying to make money or trying to be successful in that regard is to support my family, right? Is to support a family that I hope to have one day, is to make sure that myself and my loved ones can live a comfortable life. And I think if that's your motivation to trying to accumulate wealth, again, difference between being wealth and being rich, I think that there's nothing really wrong with that, and I think that's actually pretty noble. But there's people that want money for the sole purpose of wanting money, and they want to make money any means possible, right? They want to make money by maybe cutting corners, by maybe screwing over other people. I mean, we see this in the real world all the time, and Hunt is clearly driven by those greedy values, by the materialistic aspect of money, which is, to me, rotten at its core. It's just driven by greed, and greed is one of, I think, the worst traits that a human can possess. And in real life, I dislike people that are driven by those traits. And so seeing Hunt in this episode, coming in with the gold jewelry on and the gold outfit, sitting on the golden throne, and then even, casting his friends to the side, giving Yuga the loan in life points, and then taking back more than he gave Yuga as a repayment. I mean, it was actually really brilliantly done, but it very quickly led me to just absolutely hate Hunt as a character. And he's young, right? Of course, there's room for all of these characters to grow and mature, but characters that are driven by greed, people that are driven by greed, drive me absolutely crazy. So I just want to say Hunt is already at the top of probably my most hated characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's list for that reason. I also find it fascinating because I believe that Hunt has unleashed literal hell onto this tournament through Goha Double Six. And this is another reason why people that are just driven by whatever they can do to get to the top and to make money, usually it leads to bad things. And Double Six makes a deal with Hunt, which is very interesting because Double Six says, we will help you find maximums if you help me find what I am looking for, implying pretty heavily that Goha Double Six, as I assumed, is not in these mines for maximums. I don't know if he's looking for a new summoning method. I don't know if he's looking for an ancient artifact. I don't know if he's looking for something that can throw Goha City into complete and utter chaos, but that's a little concerning, and Hunt helps him. Let's not overlook this. Hunt helps him find what he's looking for, which I have a feeling is going to lead to absolute chaos, just so he can find more maximums, just so he can turn a profit, just so he can get all these materialistic things. So Hunt has unleashed way more than maybe was intended here, in my opinion. We even see in the preview of the next episode all these zombie duelists. They look kind of like the dual ghouls from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and I have a feeling that probably has to do with whatever plan Goha Double Six has and why this tournament is even happening in the first place. So Hunt has really contributed to the plot in a very negative way here, and I think we're going to learn the real ramifications of that going forward. Another really interesting plot point was at the end of this episode when Hunt says the name of Goha Double Six, and it seems like Yuga has a weird reaction to the name. I don't want to say Yuga knows the name, but it just seems like I don't know, it doesn't seem like he's unfamiliar with the name. It's a very worried tone. I'm not going to look too deep into that, but maybe the fact that he doesn't know anything about it is actually what's more off-putting than anything else to him, because Yuga seems to know everything that's going on, and so now that there's a mysterious character in the mines digging up something that is not related to Maximums, maybe that is enough to just strike fear into Yuga. And it seemed a very concerned response from Yuga when the name Goha 66 was mentioned. So is there something deeper there? Maybe. Quite a lot of people, including myself, picked up on that. I saw one theory that maybe it's Yuga's father, which would be hilarious. I'm not buying into that just because I don't think any of these characters' fathers are around, but it would be pretty funny if that was the case. The dialogue between Nail, Roa, Yuga, Roman, Rook, Gakuto, I mean, it was really, really well done. It's just great to see Nail in such a casual setting. I feel like he's the only one that just doesn't belong. It's weird to see him just like eating and enjoying ramen, and he's so like low-key and unaffected by everything. I just absolutely love Nail. And then Roa is the opposite, where Roa is trying to like overcompensate, and Roman is the one that is consistently like cutting him down, which I find to be hilarious given the relationship that the two of them have. Ronze was also great in this episode. She actually is put to work by Nail, probably because Nail just wanted to get rid of her. I mean, we can just tell that he is completely done with her, wants absolutely nothing to do with her. And actually, I thought Gakuto was going to be more jealous that Ronze left him, but Gakuto instead was more like he was very accepting of it, and he was saying to Nail, like, please take good care of her, and you could just tell that Nail wanted nothing to do with it. Just really, really funny. That was probably the funniest part of the episode for me, just seeing the ongoing, now like, I don't want to say love triangle, but the ongoing triangle now between Ronze, Nail, Gakuto, and even Sebastian, because you can tell Sebastian is like the vocal outrage of Nail. Like, Nail is so calm about everything, he's not going to get angry about the situation. Sebastian is like Nail's outlet to get angry about what Ronze is doing. And now when Gakuto accepts it at the end, it was just really funny. Seeing Yuga's Maximum represent the three rivals from the first three arcs was genius. Asana, Nail, Roa, seeing how they all contributed to that Maximum, very similarly to how Rook, Roman, and Gakuto contributed to the Maximum when Yuga dueled Nail, was really, really cool. So now both of Yuga's Maximums are possible because of his friendships, because of his blooming friendships. So that's a dynamic that I absolutely loved. And this Maximum, probably my two favorite Maximums, were honestly in this episode. Yeah, all in all, I thought it was a really good episode. Obviously, I wanted to focus more on Hunt and his characterization, which I thought was very fascinating. Again, I think he's really helped Goha 66, even if it wasn't his main intention, unleash hell on potentially Goha City and the world just to make a quick profit. Those kind of people absolutely disgust me. So Hunt, very quickly, has become probably my most disliked character in the show. But guys, let me know your thoughts on episode 45 of Sevens down below. Let me know any theories, predictions, all that good stuff you have in the comment section. I do a podcast called Talkin' Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's Up every Wednesday night at 8:39 p.m. Eastern Time. It's streamed live here on YouTube, where myself and a bunch of friends go way, way too in-depth on every single Sevens episode. If you're a fan of the show, that is the podcast for you. Hope to see some of you there. Thank you all so much for hearing out my thoughts. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, Jarrett Buller, XLayer64, Brandon Gomez, and TenjoKogamiZaizen, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, and Anime Kaput, and to my Egyptian God tier patron, XZ's Lover 104. Thank you so much to everyone who supports me on Patreon, and to everyone who is a YouTube channel member. You guys help me out tremendously. I'm on Twitch, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, links down below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.